Welcome all to our channel GTech Fluent. Our today's topic number one in cloud computing video series is Introduction to the Cloud Computing. So in this video series, we are going to cover the concept of the cloud computing with the details that as developer we must understand. So for this video tutorial, we must have the basic knowledge of the computer fundamentals. So let's start. So in this video, we'll discuss what is meant by the cloud, what is cloud computing, what are the advantage of the cloud computing, and what are the disadvantage of the cloud computing. So let's start, and first we see what is meant by the cloud. The term cloud refers to the internet or the network. In other term, we can say the cloud is something which present at the remote location. Cloud can be provide the services over the public and the private network. For example, LAN, VPN, and the WAN. The reason behind the term cloud came from the design of the network that was used by the network engineer to express or represent the location of the different network devices and their interconnection. So the structure of the network design was similar to the cloud. So now let's see what is cloud computing. So cloud computing is a service which offers customers to work over the internet. In simple terms, cloud computing means storing and accessing the data and the program over the internet rather than the computer hard disk. So data can be anything such as files, images, documents, and many more. So user can access data from anywhere just with the help of the internet connection. To access the cloud computing, user must have a valid identification or register with the cloud service provider. Cloud computing refers manipulating, configuring, and accessing the hardware and the software resources remotely. So it's offer online data storage, infrastructure, and the application. Cloud computing also offers the platform independency, as the software is not required to be installed on your local PC. So now let's see what are the advantage of the cloud computing. So the first advantage is the economical and the low maintenance cost. One of the important benefit of the cloud computing is the low cost. Cloud computing service providers provide the services to the companies the lowest rate as possible. This is also save cost of the infrastructure and cost of the managed to it. There is a no upfront cost as user has to pay only for what they are going to use. So there are some misconception that huge organization can only use the cloud computing. However, the small organization or a startup also can be used cloud computing services. The next advantage is data centralization. So it is also one of the benefit of the cloud computing that all the data store into the one place or the one location over the internet, and that can be accessed from the different remote places. So there are the many projects which store into the particular places and can be accessed anytime and anywhere into the network over the internet. So another advantage of the cloud computing is the accessibility. So cloud computing allows us to quickly and easily access the store information anywhere, anytime in the worldwide using an internet connection. An internet cloud infrastructure increase the organization productivity and effectivity by ensuring that our data is also accessible. The next advantage of the cloud computing is the availability. The cloud service is available every time as all the queries and the issues are resolved with the help of technical support by the cloud service provider, which is provided through the different communication, for example, phone calls or the email communication. The next advantage of the cloud computing is the reliability. The cloud platform is very reliable as data is stored into the secured and cannot be tampered or the steal. There are the several copies of the data are made in case the database crashes. The data can be retrieved from the other databases. The next advantage is the data security. As the data has been saved at the multiple places, so there is no chance of to lose the data. Cloud computing offer a high level of the security as data is the very important and should not be lost. The data can be modified or deleted from anywhere. Now let's see what are the disadvantages of the cloud computing. The first disadvantage is the internet connectivity. As you know, in cloud computing, every data is stored into the cloud and we can access this data through the cloud by using the internet connection. If you don't have any good internet connectivity, you can't access this data. However, we have no other way to access data from the cloud. That means cloud computing needs internet connectivity, and if there is no internet connection, you won't able to access the data which is stored into the cloud. So next disadvantage is to the vendor locking. So vendor locking is the biggest disadvantage of the cloud computing. For example, you have host your application into the one cloud, and you want to move from one cloud service provider to the another cloud service provider. In this case, it is very difficult for the customer to switch because it's getting dependency for the particular cloud service provider, as different vendors provide the different platforms, and that can be cause difficulty moving from one cloud to the another cloud. So next disadvantage is the limited control. As we know, cloud infrastructure is completely managed, owned, and monitored by the cloud service provider. So the cloud users or the customer have a less control over the functions or the execution of the services within the cloud infrastructure. So next disadvantage is the security and the privacy. So this is the another disadvantage or the concern of the cloud computing, since the data management and the infrastructure management in the cloud is provided by the third party cloud service provider. So it is always a risk to hand over the sensitive information to the cloud service provider. Although the cloud service provider or the cloud computing vendor ensure the highly secure password protected accounts and valid sign-in security. So next disadvantage is the variation in the cost. As we discussed previously, cloud computing is an economical option. But if you consider the installation of the software, it can be costly. Installation can be lead to some costly feature which can be non-beneficial for your organization in the future. In next video, we will discuss the type of clouds. So please let us know if anyone has any query, doubt. We will meet in our next video. Thank you.